Hi girls, I'm back again. So let's take a look at this example. So P divides interval AB externally in the ratio of 2 to 5. I explained to you what's the real situation. It's where AP to BP is 2 to 5, where P is actually to the right hand side of interval AB. So to find out the actual ratio, the x coordinates of point P, it's the same, exactly the same. However, we need to make one of this ratio in here negative. So my personal preference, I always make the smaller number negative. That means the bottom always keeps a positive. So therefore, you make either 2 to negative or 5 to negative. I make 2 to negative, so everything stays the same. Yep. And the same thing happened. Instead of putting x1, x2 in, you put x2 and then x1. So therefore, the bottom here is 3 and the top is negative 6 plus negative 15, which is negative 21, and that's negative 7. Okay, and the y coordinates of P is the same thing. We put in the same ratio, 5, and the top is still negative 2 plus 5 by putting now x, y1, y2. No, that's not the right order. Still y2, y1, because we have divide AB externally. So when you put the coordinates in, it should be the order of BA. That's 3, and that's negative 14 plus negative 25, which is negative 39. And that will give you negative 13 as the result. So therefore, P is the point negative 7, negative 13. Okay, but we try to keep, again, we can make 5 negative instead of the 2. So that will just make our life a little bit easier because we keep the bottom the same. Okay, now let's take a look. Another example. Let's find the coordinates of P where P divides interval AB into the ratio, what's that, 1 to 7 to 5, where A is 1, 1, and B is 5, 3. Okay, again, we have to understand the situation, not just using the formula A and B, because I can simply just ask you the other ratios if I give you something like that. Okay, so A and B, again, because it's an external division point, P is either to the left or to the right of AB, not in the middle anymore, not inside the middle anymore. And we have ratio 7 to 5. Again, as I said, this is always true because it's the interval AB, so it starts from A and then to the division point, and then from the division point to the next endpoint, which is 7 to 5. Now, can P be on the left hand side? Not really, because if P is on the left hand side, BP is always longer. It's smart. So therefore P has to be somewhere in here, which would give you, this is 7 units length, and it should be longer actually. Well, not to scale, sorry for my drawing. Okay, so at least we know where that is. So in other words, if I ask a question, what is the ratio of AB to BP? That would be 75. Oh, that would be 2 to 5. Well, as I said, it's not a very good drawing picture. Okay, so in this case, x coordinates of P equals 7 plus -5. As I said, you can make either one of them negative. However, I tend to make the smaller number negative because it's easier to calculate. And 7 plus -5, and then putting numbers in, as I said, x1, x2, now it becomes x2, x1. The bottom is just 2. And the top is 35 minus 5, 30, 15. On the other hand, same thing, 7 plus -5. Then we would have 7 plus -5. Swap the order, 3 and 1. 21 minus 5, 16, 8. Therefore, P is the point 15, 8. Okay, now those are the two examples about using the formula of our external division point. However, let me show you something interesting, and this is actually kind of question in Cambridge. You will come across with that. So here is an example. Let's write down the ratio in which P divides interval AB. Remember, it has to be AB. So for example, if I have something like this, A and B, say P in here, that's 3 and 2. And obviously, the ratio in this case is just 3 to 2. Very simple, because P divides AB into 3 to 2. Okay, and again, that is AP to BP. Part B. Okay, so for one more example. If P is here, B is here. Let's say this is 1, this is 5. That is 1 to 5, which is still the same AP to BP. Just keep the same idea from A to P and then from P to B. Now this time, let's take something different. If this is 3 and this is 2, is the ratio still 3 to 2? Not really anymore, because do you remember? It's always still AP to BP. Now the AP has a length of 5, if you can see it, and BP has a length of 2. Okay, and do you remember that could not represent it, because if only say divides, it will just automatically assume it's divide internally. So you can either say P divides, dividing AB externally in a ratio of 5 to 2. Or if you just want to say divide into some ratio, this one is actually not 100% correct. It should be 5 to -2 or -5 to 2 in terms of ratio. Let's take a look one more. In good time. What happens if I start with B in here and P in here, and that's 8, that's 3, and that's 7. Okay, remember P is still in between A and B, so this is still an internal division point. So however, because we always set interval AB, so it has to be 8 AP to BP. Just keep the sets the same. If we start from A, it starts from A. Okay, so therefore it's just AP to BP, which is 7, 2, 3. Simple as that. What happens if I have something like this? P, A, B, and this time I have 3 and 5. What do we have in this case? Well, again, P is no longer in between A and B anymore. So this is an external division point. Oops. So I just need to write external. Make sure it's external in here as well. So in this case, I'm still looking for AP to BP. AP has 3, but BP is not 5. BP is actually 8. But again, this is not satisfied the ratio without writing the word externally. So we put a negative in here. Okay, let's do one more. What happens if I have P in here, B in there, A in there? This is actually pretty much the same situation as example C. So for example, if this is 4 and this is 9, now here is another external division point because P is no longer in the middle of AB. Do you remember? It's still AP to BP. So AP is, if you can see, the length here, it's 13. And BP is just 4. And again, you need to put one of them negative as the ratio. Okay, now that concludes everything we have done in linear relationship, linear functions 1. Your work in here is Cambridge exercise 5A questions. Three to 4 first. You can just do half of them. Question 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 18, and 20. Okay, now I will compile the worksheet later for you to practice during the weekend. So this is what you're going to do during, I don't know, your first lesson will be on Thursday. Good luck, girls.